Is the coronavirus a big conspiracy? Stay tuned. A common problem we are encountering in our ever-connected, socially opinionated online world is the propagation of conspiracy theories. Just spend a few minutes scrolling your Facebook feed and I'm sure you'll see several posts which might make you question the meaning behind everything. Is the coronavirus an overinflated hoax designed to take down the American economy? Is Bill Gates going to implant all of us with microchips in the guise of a vaccine cure? Are the Democrats using the virus to take down Donald Trump? And the list of questionable questions goes on and on. Undoubtedly, there are some very dark forces working behind the scenes in the world for ill intent. But the vast majority of what you read online about conspiracy theories are simply not true. And if we're not careful, we can get caught up and swept away in illogical thinking, which will only exacerbate our already elevated levels of stress and maybe even cause us to panic. I'd like to give to you a few tips today to help with conspiracy theory thinking. Number 1. Believe nothing of what you hear and only half of what you see. Have you ever played that game as a kid where one person whispers a phrase to another person and then that person whispers to the next and down the line it goes? And then the last person speaks the phrase out loud, which causes everybody to laugh because it's nowhere remotely close to what was originally said. Conspiracy theories are very much the same way, and adults still play this game today. Initially, there may be an element of truth to the theory, but over time, as more and more people add their 2 cents to the story, it becomes inflated, exaggerated, and very much untrue. When we see a conspiracy theory online, we must remember that the opinions of hundreds or maybe even thousands of people have been interjected into the story, and it has most likely evolved into a huge exaggeration and quite possibly a complete untruth. That's why we should believe nothing of what we hear and only half of what we see. Number 2, know the difference between conspiracy theory facts and conspiracy theory fantasy. It's easier for me to believe that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered instead of committing suicide than to believe that the earth is flat. Why is that? Because there are certain public, well-documented details about the Epstein case that certainly don't add up. But if you look at many conspiracy theories on the internet, you'll find that the vast majority of them aren't backed up with solid proof at all. Take the flat earth conspiracy, for example. There are literally hundreds of thousands of people who believe that the earth is flat due to misinformation on the internet. And for some reason, they've all been persuaded to completely ignore hundreds of years of scientific evidence that the earth is round. Even thousands of satellite pictures taken from space can't convince them otherwise. When you think logically about this scale of conspiracy, it's hard to believe how anyone would actually believe it. Maybe NASA could be manipulating some of the Earth pictures, but what about the 8 other countries who've also made it into orbit? What about the dozen-plus private space agencies who've made it into space? There are tens of thousands of people working on these massive satellite projects. Wouldn't someone have leaked a picture of a square Earth from space? The coronavirus conspiracies are no different. The massive undertaking of keeping some of these conspiracies a secret is simply impossible. There are too many moving parts and too many people with secrets to believe that someone wouldn't leak pivotal information to prove that all this corona craziness is a conspiracy. Some conspiracies are just too big to be anything but fantasy. Number 3, what does it matter and what can I do? Another popular conspiracy theory that many people believe is that our government is spying on us through our smart home devices. I think it's pretty well documented that advertisers have, in fact, been listening at times to our conversation for use in targeted ads. And yes, hackers can also probably tune in if they really want to listen. Obviously, I'd rather not be having anyone listen to my private conversations. But if I'm not saying anything incriminating, does it really matter? If the government really wants to listen in on me and my kids watching Netflix, what can I do? Many people unplug their smart devices out of fear of eavesdropping. And there's nothing wrong with that per se. But stressing out about a potential hacker or government agency listening in through your Amazon or Google product can lead to paranoia at worst or low-level stress at best. The same is true for coronavirus conspiracies. Even if Bill Gates wanted to vaccinate us for some new world order agenda, there's nothing I can do about it until I see clear facts that the government is preparing for mandatory vaccinations. Until I know for a fact that my constitutional rights will be violated, I must choose not to respond in fear by believing unfounded conspiracy theories. Until it really matters, evidenced by hard facts, there's nothing I can or should do. Number 4, the power of confirmation bias. Humans have a tendency to find supporting evidence for the things they want to believe in. This is called confirmation bias. There's a long-standing conspiracy theory that The Simpsons TV show is somehow a predictive indicator of the future, mostly because they aired an episode about Donald Trump getting elected as president years before he actually did. As convincing as this may have been for some people, The Simpsons have had many more failed predictions that people choose to ignore because those predictions don't conform to their beliefs. Fast forward to our corona epidemic. I saw a video recently someone shared of dozens of tanks being transported across a bridge on a train. Under the video was a caption about impending martial law and hundreds of comments from panicked viewers. But anyone remotely familiar with the military will confirm that movement of assets from one place to another is very routine. Yet because many people are looking for a confirmation of their personal belief that the U.S. is about to be governed by martial law, this post appeared valid. When you see any conspiracy theory, it's important to ask yourself, is this an example of confirmation bias? Could pieces of information be somehow stitched together to craft a narrative that fits a false belief? And finally, perhaps the biggest reason to avoid conspiracy theories is the fact that they instill fear and distract us from what's really important. At the root of almost all conspiracy theories is fear and mistrust, two powerful emotions which cause anxiety, depression, and stress. I don't know about you, but I have enough negative emotions going on right now without having to worry about the what-ifs of coronavirus conspiracies and other false narratives. I want my time to be spent focusing on what's really important: my children, my relationships, self-improvement, and my relationship with God. The greatest cause I can take up is not a fight against a perceived threat from our government. My greatest cause is being the best dad and friend I can be during a very difficult time when my family and friends need me the most. Thanks for watching today, and if you need a little help with your mental health during the COVID-19 crisis, feel free to reach out. We accept most major insurances, Medicaid, and we're certified to provide teletherapy. You can visit our website at lakeareacounseling.com for more information. Until next time, I'm Joel Daugherty, and we'll see you again soon.